Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our district's Rotary Virtual Foundation celebration. Thank you for coming. Unfortunately, some of our friends who had intended to come tonight are not here. Yes, I had on my 2020 bingo card, hurricane hits upstate South Carolina. I did not have that hurricane hits upstate South Carolina on the morning of our virtual foundation celebration. So I lost there. So welcome and thank you for coming. And you're usually used to Terry Weaver running very slick productions. And I'm going to have to confess that this one's not going to be as slick as possible. I'm one of the 33% of people in Greenville who lost power. I still do not have power. They cannot get to my neighborhood. So I'm over at Terry's and we are going to do the best we can. The most important thing is that we as Rotarians in District 7750 have gathered tonight to celebrate the successes we've had with foundation giving, to recognize the importance of the foundation to us as Rotarians, and hear an outstanding speaker, Stephanie Urchik, who will speak in just a little bit. So if there are a few glitches, please bear with us because we have not had the normal practice sessions that we've been able to, because it's hard to do that without power. So thank you for joining us tonight. Before I introduce the guest tonight, let me just say that the Rotary Foundation is how we as Rotarians collectively fund the good work we do in our communities. It's how we do our international projects. And just remember, a child woke up in a remote village in Honduras this morning because of Rotarians in District 7750. Children have the gift of life because we have brought clean, fresh water through our foundation giving to about 18 villages in Honduras. We have funded vocational projects and educational projects and agricultural projects in Haiti, where we are improving life, not just for a certain group of people, but for generations to come. The Rotary Foundation is how we do good across the globe, but it's also how we do so much good in our own communities through giving books to children, doing playground equipment in parks, and buying shoes for school students. So thank you for coming. Just make sure you stay muted as we work through this program. So our most special guest tonight, you'll meet her later, Stephanie Urchik, who is our Rotary International Director from Zones 33-34. She's also the Rotary International Executive Committee Chair, and Stephanie is just an outstanding Rotarian. We also have one of my heroes in Rotary, Ann Matthews, with us tonight. Ann's in our neighboring district, 7770. She's a past RI vice president, and Ann is, she embodies everything about the Rotary Foundation. So thank you for joining us, Ann. We have a bunch of district governors. I don't think many of my Flamingo governors have made it tonight, but if they are, a good Flamingo welcome to all of you. And of course, we have several of our past district governors. I will not be able to call you all by name, but just a wave. And I can't wait till next year when I'm doing the PDG wave at events. So shout out to our past district governors. We have Nancy Barbie, who is our Regional Rotary Foundation Chair from Zone 33. Nancy is in North Carolina, and she has coordinated all the foundation efforts in our zone for the past 3 years. Following her next July will be our own Lorraine Angelino, who will be Regional Rotary Foundation Chair from 2021 to 2024. Hi, Lorraine. Vanessa Irvin, who is our Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Chair, Zone 33. I've met Vanessa many times. She's spoken at our district conference, and Vanessa trained, if there's possible to train a Flamingo class, our Flamingo class at Carolina's Pets for our DGN year. Hello, Vanessa. We have Frank Cox and his wife, Crossy. Frank is our district governor-elect. They just got their power back on in Clemson, so hello there, Frank. And Joyce Moran, who follows Frank the following year as district governor nominee. We have a bunch of assistant governors on here. They do so much great work. Assistant governors, give the AG wave. And of course, our club presidents. Thank you for all joining us tonight. Wave from our club presidents tonight. And of course, our most special guest are you, our Rotarians who are joining us for this very special evening. We will now have the invocation and pledge of allegiance from Raishika Bush. She is with the Rotary Club of Aiken Sunrise. She is Assistant Governor from Area 8. And so, Raishika, would you lead us in the invocation and then the pledge?
Certainly, Beth, thank you. Please take this moment with me as we go into the invocation. As we gather here today as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make the world better. Amen.
And now for our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Raishika. It's my honor and privilege tonight to introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Stephanie Urchick. Stephanie started serving last year, 2019, as one of the 2 Rotary International directors from zones 33, 34, and she will serve throughout this year. Stephanie also chairs the Rotary International Executive Committee, and she is a member of the Rotary Club of McMurray, Pennsylvania. I first heard Stephanie, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago, when she did one of those featured presentations at Carolina's Pets. I found her funny, very smart, and truly knowledgeable and passionate about the Rotary Foundation. And also, one of the reasons I wanted her so much for tonight is I also found that she's had a little unusual life, and she tells actually some pretty wacky stories sometimes, and they are all true. So Stephanie has had most of the major positions in Rotary. She served as a Rotary Foundation trustee. She has received the Distinguished Service Award from Rotary. She has been on many, many international projects. And like I said, is just truly passionate about the foundation and about the good we can do as Rotarians through the foundation. So with that, please join me in welcoming Stephanie Urchick.
Well, thank you so much, Governor. I appreciate that. My family of Rotary, I want you to think about what matters most to the Rotary Foundation. Have you ever wondered what that is? Is it the inclusion of our new area of focus on supporting the environment? Or maybe it's every Rotarian every year and annual giving? Or possibly polio eradication and finishing the job? Well, to answer that question, I want to first begin by asking you to step back in time and think about 2 important dates in your personal history. One is your birth date. So, Governor Beth, on what month and day were you born? Not the year, just the month and the date. You can unmute and tell us.
I was born on the 14th day of the month of October.
Okay, so on October 14th, whatever year that was, Beth was born and the world changed and it has never been the same. And that's true for every single one of us on the call tonight. The second important date in your personal history was the day that you said yes to Rotary, the day that you became a Rotarian, a spouse of a Rotarian. So think back to the person who invited you. And why did you say yes? Service finds you when you need it most. My Rotary date is October 1st, 1991. My story is real simple. I was working at a Pennsylvania State University, and a woman who had an office in the same building wandered into my office, and she said, "Stephanie, would you like to come to a Rotary meeting?" And I looked at her and said, "What the heck is Rotary?" Because I had never heard about Rotary. Nobody in my family had been in a service club. My father owned a business. He probably would have been a great Rotarian, but nobody asked him. So Eileen stood there and gave me the elevator speech. And she talked about what Rotary did. And when she got to the international part, I was completely hooked. And I said, Well, yeah, of course, I'd love to go to Rotary with you. So I went to a meeting. I went to a second meeting. By the fourth meeting, I was doing the newsletter. A year and a half later, I was club president, and well, the rest is history. But service did find me at a time when I needed it and when the world needed me. We needed each other. I give my time and I give to my abilities, my resources until it feels good. Now, Rotary service doesn't make me any wealthier. It doesn't give me more time. But what it gives me is something I call psychic income. When I work on behalf of others and work for a cause, it makes changes in my own life. I've learned more in volunteer service than I have ever learned in a classroom. So while I'm out there changing the world, I'm changing myself. Our immediate past president, Mark Maloney, reminded us that Rotary connects the world. And our current president, Holger Knack, notes that Rotary opens opportunities. So let me share with you just a few stories about the Rotary Foundation and why we do the work of Rotary. In the year 2000, I found myself in India to participate in a National Immunization Day. It was the first time I had ever traveled to India. And when you're on a National Immunization Day, as Nancy Barbie can tell you and others who have done it, generally Rotarians in the area help get you from place to place to place, the stations where they're doing the immunization. So I want to share a story about the very last spot that we were working, and that happened to be in a slum, what we would call a slum. So we walked and walked and walked till we got to the spot, and it wasn't quite set up yet. They were still setting up tables and hanging banners. So we stepped to the side, and I noticed that there was a little girl, short, dark hair, big, dark eyes, and she was staring at me. And so if I moved to the right, I looked, she's still staring at me. I walked a little bit to the left, she's dead staring at me. And I thought, my goodness, she's really obsessed. So as the space opened and the lines formed, sure enough, this little girl ended up right in front of me. There was another woman with her, and I looked at the little girl, and she's still staring at me, and she's shaking violently. So I said to the woman, "Is your child all right?" And she laughed. She said, "Oh, miss, you just don't understand. She has never seen white skin and yellow hair. You're the boogie woman." So despite being the boogie woman, she did open her mouth and she did let me put those 2 drops in. And today, that little girl is around 30 years old and she's walking through the streets of Mumbai because of what you and I do to make the world a better place through the Rotary Foundation. The second time I had an opportunity to be on a National Immunization Day, I found myself in Nigeria. Because I had been on an NID in the past and done the drops, when they asked us what we would like to do, I simply said, whatever needs done. Let the other people who haven't done the drops do that because there's magic in that. So the local Rotarian said to me, well, because you are female and because this is a Muslim village, I'd like you to walk with me through the village, and you, as a female, can go into the homes and check for children to make sure they have the purple mark on their pinky. I can't do that. So that was my job that day. And I walked through the village and I'd go in the huts and I'd check all the rooms. And I remember walking into one and I was about to leave the house because I thought I had found all the children, and a woman grabbed my sleeve and she pointed, and in the corner there was a little boy hunched down, and sure enough, he did not have a mark. So we went to the front and I called in one of the health people and they came and they got him. And then they marked the door outside that house was okay. And before I left, the woman grabbed my hand again and she was saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And when I looked, I realized that she had put this necklace in my hand. It was her way of saying thank you. I'm sure this was hers, but she was saying thank you for providing the magic drops that will allow her children to have a life free of a crippling disease. This has become a very treasured gift that I probably will never get rid of. It was just such a special moment. At the end of walking through all those huts, it was about 116 degrees that day, and my hair was stringy and I was soaking wet, and I couldn't wait for the van to come and pick us up and take us back. And the Rotarian said to me, "Miss, I need you to come back to my office." And I said, "Where's your office?" He said, "In the front of the village." All right, so we walked all the way back through the huts, and the little goat was following me, and we got back to his office, and he said, "Now you must sign." And I said, "Sign what?" He brings out a big book, and he says, "Sign to certify." And I said, "Me? I'm just a Rotarian from Pennsylvania. What am I signing?" He said, "Your signature certifies that this village is 100% compliant. We have gotten every child immunized, and it is the first time in our history, because we are 100% Muslim, it's the first time that this has happened." So that is why we do the magic of Rotary that we do, so that we can leave a legacy for children to have the best life that they possibly can. Several years later, I was getting ready to become district governor in my own district, and I found out about a hospital in Southeast Poland that had no mammography equipment. This is a babushka. Now that word, I'm sure you may have heard it. Babushka in Eastern European languages means two things. It means grandmother, but it also means a scarf that they wear on their heads. And this babushka did belong to my grandmother. She gave it to me before she passed away. So when I heard that there was a hospital with no mammography equipment, I thought, good grief. So we did some research. At that time in the United States, the survival rate from breast cancer was greater than 75%. In that part of Poland, it was less than 50%. Now, that's not because they had more cases of cancer. It was because they simply didn't have early detection. So I thought, well, this is something that Rotarians can wrap their arms around, because everybody has an important woman in their life. They have a mother, a spouse, a daughter, an aunt, whatever, whatever. So I asked all the clubs in my district to do some fundraising, and they did. And through a matching grant, back then it was matching grant from the Rotary Foundation, we were able to secure a biopsy unit and the mammography equipment. It was manufactured in Germany by Siemens. They waived all the value-added taxes and surcharges and everything else. They got it into that hospital in Nowa Huta, Poland. I had an opportunity to take a team from Western Pennsylvania. 10 of us went for the dedication, and it was such a big deal. It was not just the local Rotarians in the hospital. The governor, who lived in another part of Poland, the Rotary governor, came. The media came. The bishop came. It was certainly a big deal. For about 7 years after we had installed that equipment, we communicated with our partner, who was the Rotary Club of Krakow, because they were providing the film. This was before digital mammography. And we were asking them how many mammograms were done. So in that period, that 7-year period, there were over 5,000 mammograms done. So we were saving lives of Polish women, women that we'll never meet, because of what you and I do in the name of the Rotary Foundation. Closer to home, you know that, as you heard from Governor Beth, our Rotary Foundation also lets us do magic in our own communities. One of the projects that my club is very often involved in is a project called Fresh Express. What we do is buy the services of a refrigerated truck. And we send that truck through our community, and any establishment that has food that has an expiration date, they've hit the expiration date, they donate that to us. So it could be restaurants, it could be schools, it could be supermarkets. We collect all of that food, and the food bank, our local food bank, notifies people who are eligible to come to a certain location with a bushel basket or something to receive what we've collected. So this is perishable food, items that they wouldn't normally get in a food bank distribution. So on the day that we had purchased this Fresh Express, it was raining really heavy, cats and dogs. So I was standing at my table with a big golf umbrella, and I was fine. Most of the Rotaractors and Rotarians were back in the truck sitting out, to get out of the rain. But I was standing at my station, and I noticed that a taxi had pulled up, and a woman got out, no umbrella. She had a little hat on. She had 2 little Walmart bags, and she registered. And when she came up to me, I greeted her. I said, good morning. And then I said, you know what? I think I have a box back here. Now it was wet, but it was wax coated. Certainly a little bit better than her Walmart bag. So I gave her the box, and so we moved. She on one side of the table and me on the other. And as we did, I put into her box the things that we had collected. So on that morning, she got a bag of apples, she got potatoes, she got hot dogs, she got deer meat, and she got something else that I can't remember. I think it might have been lettuce. And when we got to the end of the line, she looked at me and said, thank you, honey. I won't have to eat popcorn for dinner tonight. And that's why we do the work that we do to support the Rotary Foundation. So to bring this back full circle, what matters most to the Rotary Foundation? Well, if you've been listening, you know that the answer is you do. It's what you bring to the table. It's the passion, the strength, the ideas, the motivation. It's the things that you do to change the world that matter to the Rotary Foundation. We had a president in Rotary from India whose name was Kalyan Banerjee, and he used to say, you don't have to look far to find the things you need to change the world. They're right here. The love, the motivation, the strength to do the things, it's all right within you. So you matter to the Rotary Foundation. It's Rotarians like you that pave the way. It's Rotarians like you that get it. It's your actions that change the world. So when you work in Honduras, when you work in Haiti, when you work throughout District 7750 to change the lives for children and others, you matter to the Rotary Foundation. So I want to thank you, District 7750. Your presence on this Zoom call tells me that you believe in, you support, and you love the Rotary Foundation. So I hope you will keep loving TRF and keep doing good in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Outstanding, outstanding speech. Now you can see why I really, really wanted Stephanie to do this presentation for us. So passionate about the Rotary Foundation, and like I said, a little bit quirky. Has the most interesting life, Stephanie, and you didn't even tell half of it. Because I wouldn't believe it if you told the whole story. So thank you very much for bringing that home. Yes, this is how we do good in the world. And we would have loved to have had you in person here in District 7750, but so glad you could join us from Pennsylvania. Stephanie, in your honor and to show appreciation, we have made a donation to the Rotary Foundation in your name. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we really appreciate it. And I would say have a safe trip home, but you are home. So
thank you so much, Beth.
And you're going to hear from Stephanie just a little bit later in the program also. We have some special foundation awards tonight. And it's my honor to get to do the first two, which are some of the highest individual awards for the Rotary Foundation. The Distinguished Service Award Only 42 Rotarians in the entire world received the Distinguished Service Award last year for their exemplary service to the Rotary Foundation. You have to receive the Citation for Meritorious Service 4 years prior to being nominated for this award. And I have the honor and privilege of introducing my friend, Lorraine Angelino, who is being awarded the Distinguished Service Award this year. Lorraine, thank you so much for what you do for Rotary. Lorraine is our District Rotary Foundation Chair. Again, she is serving her 6th year in this position. 5 years was Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Chair. Lorraine, when you think about the Rotary Foundation in our district, you think about Lorraine Angelino. It's as simple as that. She knows everything. She can get grants done. She knows the intricacies of global grants. She is willing to talk and has done dozens and dozens of speeches to our clubs about the Rotary Foundation. And she also speaks at regional events and at training seminars. That is why Lorraine will next year become our Regional Rotary Foundation Chair. She has knowledge about the foundation. She is as passionate as they come about the foundation. She is willing to work with any club to try to figure out any way to improve their foundation giving. And she knows more ways to get money out of people, including, I will say, myself on occasion, than anyone I have come in contact with in terms of the Rotary Foundation. So Lorraine, would you like to say something?
Absolutely. Sure. Thanks, Beth. This is quite an honor. I have a passion for our Rotary Foundation and for doing good in the world. I'd like to thank immediate past District Governor Rob Hanley for nominating me and District Administrator Faith Line for her part in getting the application to the right place. I also want to thank past Rotary International Vice President Ann Matthews, past our Rotary International Director Stephanie Urchik, Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator Nancy Barbie, Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator Vanessa Irvin, past District Governor Gary Goforth, and District Governor Beth Paget for being a part of my Rotary Foundation journey. I want to thank my mom, Lita Fide, and my sister, Susan Ritchie, for Zooming in tonight. I want to thank everyone in the district and everyone in the Emerald City Rotary Club that have stepped up to the plate and given to our Rotary Foundation when asked whether it was time, talent, or treasure. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Lorraine. Let's give a hand for Lorraine. Thank you so much, Lorraine. It's also my privilege to present the Citation for Meritorious Service. Only one per district can be given out each year. And this year it goes to a most deserving recipient of this. My Rotary story took a turn when I went with Al Steele to Honduras. Al Steele embodies Rotary. Al Steele has brought the gift of life to hundreds of children in Honduras. Al Steele is a hero for me. He's a member of the Rotary Club of Fort Mill. And if he's not on here, I am going to thump his head the next time I see him. Al, he developed his passion for Rotary in Capan, Honduras. He saw a need. He saw that children were dying from waterborne illnesses, and he saw that there was a simple solution to that, a simple solution using fresh mountain water from springs, bringing it through down the mountain to villages, and through that giving life to children in many cities, many villages in Honduras. I can't tell if Al is on. I've tried to flip through here. I see many of my Fort Mill friends on here who have promised me they would have Al on here tonight. If Al is on, Al, if you would unmute yourself for 2 minutes. And I say 2 because if you've ever heard an Al Steele story, you know it can run on for quite some time. So he is not. I'm being told Al did not make it tonight.
I'm on here. I'm here. Hello, hello.
Al, what are you being quiet about? You're never quiet. So
Well,
it's a privilege to present virtually the citation for meritorious service to you.
thank you very much. It's a humbling to receive that. Caught me off guard. All I'll say is to echo what I've heard the other people so far say. It's all about Rotarians' relationships with other Rotarians. And as all of you know, you've heard me tell the story. We started out by being in Honduras on a Presbyterian house building mission trip. Went back to the hotel one night after working all day and saw a sign in the lobby that said Club Rotario meets tonight. So we wanted to get a Honduran makeup slip and bring it back. And so that's how it all started. We would go to their club every time. And then we did a water project, and I don't know, that was 38 trips ago. So thank you very much. It's quite an honor to receive this.
Thank you, Al. Thank you so much. Thank you and Lorraine for all the good you do in the world, especially the good you do as Rotarians. We will also now have some special club and foundation awards that will be given out by Terry Weaver, who is our district trainer. Immediate past district governor Rob Hanley was supposed to do this part. Rob has had surgery on his foot, as some of you know, this afternoon. And so if Rob is on here, I'm going to let Rob do a special shout out. He's had surgery and he has just gotten home, but I think he wants to wave or say hi or something. And with that, I will turn it over to Terry, and I am not seeing Rob on here. I was told he was on here.
Excuse me, Beth, I am on. And I've been chatting with many of our Rotary friends. And I would like to thank you, Beth, for stepping up, excuse me, and giving a part of this presentation I was supposed to give. And I would like to thank Terry for giving a part of the presentation. Terry, I'm going to step a little bit ahead and just say one thing, because I know you'll be recognizing clubs for their polio giving. And I especially appreciate those clubs that did give last year to End Polio Now campaign. That was one of my areas of focus. As I told clubs when I did my official visits, I remember getting sugar cubes as a child in school because the polio vaccine was just being introduced. Yes, I am that old. I want to continue to encourage our Rotarians to give to End Polio Now. We know that one of our partners is the World Health Organization. And as you may know, there's a possibility that the World Health Organization may be about $450 million short of funding next year, depending on what our government decides to do regarding its participation. So Rotarians supporting End Polio Now is more important now than ever. We are this close to finishing, and Rotarians finish what they start. That said, thank you, Terry, and thank you, Beth. This has been an excellent presentation. Stephanie, thank you for your talk. It is always inspiring to hear you. Everybody have a great evening.
And you get well, Rob. So I will turn it over to Terry Weaver.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you, Rob. As Rob said, failure is not an option in this polio campaign. I've seen estimates ranging between 40,000 and 200,000 cases a year as the bounce back from polio if we were simply to stop where we are. Failure is not an option. I would note that we are back in the vaccination business in Pakistan, the highest level of wild polio virus in the world, and that is as of July. So we are now on the backside of the COVID hiatus there, and we have vaccinated almost 40 million children in Pakistan, which is not enough. We still have polio cases, but we're closing in on it. So thank you, Rob, and thanks to all of you for supporting Polio Plus. Wanted to make some club awards, and there are two categories this year. I think it's this past year, 2019-20. There were two categories of awards. One is E-Ray, the ever familiar acronym, every Rotarian every year. There's also an award called 100% Foundation Giving. Now, these awards are so narrowly similar in criteria, I couldn't quite figure out why there were two of them. And so not surprisingly, the exact same clubs won both. So we will be announcing those in parallel. These are the Every Rotarian Every Year Banner Awards and the 100% Foundation Giving Banner Awards. The criteria for that is everyone in the club participates in the foundation, gives at least $25 minimum, and the overall club per capita giving is over $100. So these clubs well cleared that threshold, many of them top giving clubs in the district. And those are Aiken Sunrise, Emerald City, Greenville Breakfast, Inman, Lake Wiley, Lancaster, Lawrence, Pleasantburg, Spartan West, the Reedy River Greenville, Twin City of Batesburg Leesville, and also Union and Walhalla. Congratulations to those winners of 2 awards in parallel, the E-Ray Award and the 100% Foundation Giving Award. Nice work, clubs. In Polio Now. In Polio Now, and you may also know, besides the fact that failure is not an option, this is costing some serious money. We are on the hook, Rotary, for a pledge of $50 million of each of 3 years ending this year, 2020-21. So Lorraine and Beth are not resting until we meet our polio goal this year. But these are certificates of appreciation for End Polio Now participation. And those go to clubs contributing more than $1,500. That is the Polio Plus, shall we say, target, $1,500 minimum per club. Actually, in our district, we break that down per capita. Obviously, a club the size of Aiken has more giving capacity than smaller clubs. Nevertheless, this certificate goes to clubs with more than $1,500 giving to Polio Plus. And that includes Aiken, Anderson, Chester, Clemson, Clemson Sunrise, Clover, the E Club of the Carolinas, Easley, Emerald City, long list, Fort Mill, Golden Strip Sunrise, Greater Anderson, Greenville, Greenwood, Lancaster, Newberry, Pleasantburg, Rock Hill, Spartan West and Spartanburg, the Reedy River Greenville, Union, Westminster, and York. Thanks to all of you for your support of Polio Plus. It's an absolutely essential project to Rotary. Now what we'd like to do is recognize some new major donors and some new major donor levels. Major donor, as you know, is the next giving threshold above the Paul Harris series. Paul Harris +1, +2, +3, +4, etc., up through +8. And then this is actually Paul Harris +9. The first level of major donor recognition is the $10,000 level above Paul Harris +8. So major donor recognitions go out this year to new major donor Delyn Barnes. Thank you, Delyn. Twin City of Batesburg, Leesville. Phil and Gail Patrick, longtime friends of mine, major donor level 1 from the Greenville Club. MC Yarbrough, another longtime friend of mine, as is Delyn, of course. And MC is in the E Club of the Carolinas. Jim and Phyllis Cashin have stepped up to major donor level 2. That's the next threshold above major donor level 1. And these are gifts now in cash money to the Rotary Foundation. Jim has been in the Golden Strip Sunrise Club forever. That was one of my clubs when I was an assistant governor. So Jim, if you're on, great to see you, and great to see you stepping up to this level of support of the Rotary Foundation. Faith Line is also achieving major donor level 2. Faith, as you know, is our district administrator and a longtime member of the Anderson Club, former secretary of the Anderson Club. Chip and Lorraine Stockman of Emerald City, major donor level 2. And of course, MC and Rita Yarbrough, MC of the E Club and Rita of the Newberry Club. Now we go to the Bequest Society. The difference between the Bequest Society and major donor is, of course, major donor is funding right now to meet annual program fund needs, to meet Polio Plus needs and so forth. The Bequest Society, we're willing to wait, and hopefully a long time. Bequest Society are testamentary gifts through your will, a trust, perhaps a 401k or IRA, life insurance, etc. And so these bequest society pledges are upon the death of these donors. The first of which is John and June Kimball. John is a former district membership chair of our district, moved here from a prior district in Florida, and is now a member of the Pleasantburg Club. Bequest Society Level 1 is their pledge to the Rotary Foundation. Bequest Society Level 2, that is Jerry and Avery Doubleday of the Emerald City Club. I can see Lorraine's hand at work here. John Notstein of the Aiken Club, Bequest Society Level 2. And then we have a set of other special foundation recognitions for which I'm going to hand it back to our guest and my friend Stephanie Urchik, Rotary International Director of Zone 33. Stephanie, if you'll make these other recognitions for us.
Yes, thank you, Terry. Before I do, please allow me to add my congratulations and thank you to all of those clubs and those individual donors. You are making the magic of Rotary possible. Thank you very much. I'm pleased tonight to announce the following individuals who have stepped up to further support your Rotary Foundation. First, at Major Donor Level 2 and Bequest Society Level 4 is your district governor, Beth Padgett. Beth is a member of the Greenville Rotary Club, and she served as club president there in the year 2001, 2002, and now she is a proud and very excellent Flamingo district governor. Major Donor Level 4. We're pleased to announce that Lorraine Angelino from the Emerald City Rotary Club has stepped up to Major Donor Level 4. She has served as district governor in 2013-14. She is currently your district foundation chair and will serve a 3-year term in Zone 33 as our Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator beginning July 1st, 2021. Congratulations, Lorraine. And finally, I'm very pleased to announce the newest members of the Arch Clump Society from your district, Doug and Sally Kaufman. They are members of the Greenwood Rotary Club, and they do embody the motto of service above self. In 2016, after 20 years of service, the Kaufmans retired from their roles as pastor and minister of music and education from the Connie Maxwell Baptist Church in Greenwood, South Carolina. They have gone on to use the time, talents, and treasures to do good in the world and in the Greenwood community. Currently, they are a sponsor for a large grant from the Rotary Foundation with several districts and World Vision, and that grant is bringing water and sanitation to schools in Ethiopia. Doug is also the district polio chair, and the Kaufmans have a $20,000 matching polio challenge that runs through November the 15th. So if you want to hear more about that, contact Doug or talk to Lorraine. I'm sure they both can give you information. Doug and Sally have 2 daughters, Christina Eisenhower and Anna Kaufman Germain. So we want to congratulate all of these donors, all of the clubs who have stepped up to support the Rotary Foundation. And now, Governor Beth, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your being here with us tonight. Inspirational stories you've told us, and you serve as a model for us. And we look forward to seeing many great things from you as your Rotary career advances, as I'm sure it will. Thank you to Doug and Sally Kaufman, extraordinary generous gift. And the original polio match was for $15,000. I was speaking to the Greenwood Club, of which Doug and Sally are members. I was speaking there Tuesday, And the question was asked, was there more money left for the polio match? And the answer from Lorraine, who knows everything about every dollar that goes to the Rotary Foundation, was we maxed out on the $15,000. It took Doug about 30 seconds to say he had gotten approval from his partner to increase the polio match by $5,000. And so that match has been increased. Goes through November 15th. So please, if you've not gotten your polio money in, there is a $100 match, and it will be multiplied double that from the Bill Gates Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to Lorraine and to my friend Al Steele. Both of you are just model Rotarians, and you do so much good in the world. And it's an honor to share this district with you. Thank you for what you do. Just remember that that millions and millions of children do not have polio, have not been crippled by the paralyzing disease of polio because of Rotarians. Just remember that tomorrow morning, a child will wake up in a remote village in Honduras because we have brought clean, fresh water to those villagers. Just remember that in Haiti right now, there is vocational training going on. We have a goat project going on where we give not just goats, but what is wealth on 4 feet to families in Haiti to improve their lives, not just for the short term, but for generations. This is the extraordinary good work that we do across the globe. But as you know from your own clubs, we do so much good work in our own communities, from Happy Feet giving shoes to students, to giving books to kids, to just reading to a kid, or as RI President Holger Knox has said, just planting a tree in our community. We do so much good in so many ways. Thank you, Terry Weaver, for substituting and doing such a good job and sharing your bandwidth with me tonight. And Past Governor Rob, please continue to get well and don't climb trees anytime soon. To everybody who has been in the path of the storm, stay safe. There's still a lot of trees down, power lines down. Stay safe. Thank you so much. It's my honor and privilege to serve as your district governor this year. Thank you for joining us tonight. Goodbye, and stay on and just chat for a few minutes with your friends if you'd like. Goodbye. Thank you.